Good morning, ScrappyShak friends. We're going to get straight into the demo today. Melanie is not here. She is with those twin grandsons of hers today because, of course, next week we will be in Nashville and she's going to be missing all her GG time. So she's got to get it in today. But we're going to go ahead and get started. The first product I have for you today is a ScrappyShak homemade collage pack that you can purchase. I think we've got it for $3.49.
I think that's what we did.
And then it's on your 20% off sale today. And your code today is travel20, although I think it'll be almost the end of the show before you find out why. But it's worth the wait because that's some of the good stuff. But anyway, if you like making collage backgrounds, we have put together a little pack for you. This one is just a couple pages from a novel. You can see by the color, it's a bit vintagey, a little aged. I think maybe it's some like, I can't remember what this novel is. Something called The Deceiver. Anyway, then we've got a couple pages of an oversized crossword puzzle. You can either use the crossword side or you can use the clue side, and it's got a bit of pink. There's a little dark pink at the top, little light pink accents around the bottom edges. So you can use the pink or you can not use the pink depending on your mood. We've got a little graph paper for you, a couple sheets of that. And then we've got a couple sheets out of one of those, I guess they call them adult coloring books that have the tiny designs. They're all different. This particular one is like a wind catcher type thing almost. And this one is more of a paisley swirly bit. And then there's some green ledger paper and some pages from a book about architecture. This is the Allegheny County Courthouse from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was really funny to me because one of the collages I made earlier this week had a building from Meadville, Pennsylvania, and I didn't realize it until I was putting the Mod Podge over the top of it, and I had left just enough of the what are these called? Captions. I had left just enough of the caption to be able to read that it was from Meadville, Pennsylvania, which is my parents' hometown. So it was kind of fun for me, and some music pages. So let me show you how these all work together to create a background. Okay, so what I have, I took a set home, a set just like the one that I just showed you. I mean, obviously it had different pictures, but it was the same kind of a pack. And I have done 3/4 of this page already. And I literally, you can see here, I just tore up all of the pages. Okay, just tore them into small pieces. I did leave a couple big pieces just in case I wanted them, but I've got all sizes of pieces here, and I'm just going to show you how I did this in case anybody has not done this before. But you can see pieces here from the architecture book. Here's a bit of a building. Here's a bit of a building. Here's from that coloring book. So this was like paisley from the coloring book, and this was a mandala. Here's a bit from the crossword puzzle. These are from the crossword puzzle book. The green bits here are from the ledger paper. Again, the paisley. Here's some of the music sheet, some of the novel, some of the graph paper here and behind here and in between here. So it's the same stuff that you're getting. So I'm not trying to trick you or do anything crazy. And all I'm going to do here is get into my Mod Podge. Ooh, this is old store Mod Podge, and I think it needs to be a little watered down, but we're just going to go with what we have for now. And I'm just putting a coat of glue over the bottom half of this blank spot. And I'm going to reach into my stack here. I'm going to put some music notes right here and kind of push it down. I'm going to put a little more glue right here and a piece of this book page. Okay, I'm also gluing over the top. This is sticking down the edges for me, and it's flattening everything out. I think I'll go with another piece of graph paper right here. Okay, just covering things up. Okay, I'm gonna So I had 2 pieces of graph paper. All right, going over the top, going underneath. And I've got like, there's a little white spot right there. If I was really, really bothered by it, I can go take a tiny piece of anything and put on, I don't even know if you can hardly see it. There it is, right in there in the corner. That little bitty triangle between the music, the words, and the graph paper. If I was really bothered with it, I could get a tiny scrap and cover that. Is it bothering you now that you've seen it? No. Okay. All right. April's gotten over it. The rest of you can get over it too. So, let's see. I'm going to take a piece of this paisley, but I'm going to make it a thinner piece. And I'm just going to put it right up the side here. And again, I'm not worried about like a tiny piece of blank because I'm going to do so many other things to this before I'm done with it that you're really not going to notice that kind of thing. I think I want maybe their piece of building right up here. And y'all, I am doing this on ScrappyShak paper. Okay, ScrappyShak premium cardstock. I have it's 8.5 by 11. Okay, so this for me, you could leave it large and do the big projects, but this for me is going to be 4 different card backgrounds. All right, so I've got a blank here, so I'm going to put.
Diane says, such satisfaction in ripping paper, isn't there?
Oh, hey, we were watching something on TV and I sat there and ripped all the pages at once. It was great. My husband was looking at me like I was a lunatic. I'm just sitting over there ripping paper and ripping paper and ripping paper. All right, so last piece, maybe make it a little bit big. Okay, so my next step is that I would let this whole thing dry. And you will not see this on camera. We're going to do one of those magic things where I sneak this one away and pull a dry one onto the page. But after I let it dry, I would flip it over to the back. And some of these bubbles and stuff that you're seeing will calm down when the when everything dries. I think it's 110 pound. So I have done it with the 110 pound ScrappyShak Premium. I have done it with watercolor paper, and I have done it probably with something that's closer to 85 or 90. Although the 85, 90 does tend to buckle a little bit, but you know, once you cut it up, because like I said, I'm going to cut this and use it for 4 different card backgrounds. Once you cut it up, you can, if you want, turn it over onto the back side and iron it if you want it to be super, super flat. So that's not bothersome to me. But anyway, eventually what I would do is turn it over after it's dry and take my scissors and just trim off these jaggedy edges. And then I have a good page. All right, pardon me just a second while I get all my scraps out of the way and try not to dip them into wet glue.
Oh, we're the sensitive things.
I know. I'll use these at another time. All right, so the wet one is going away. I'm going to bring some dry ones on. So, okay, remember that the pack that I showed you at the beginning is the same pack I used at home. I just made the one page that I showed you, plus I've made these 4 others, or these 3 others, plus I still have all that pile of scraps left. I can make at least, I would say at least 2 or 3 more pages. So you're getting a good bit out of that pack. Now, what I want to talk to you about real quick is the difference between these 2. Okay, if you didn't want quite so much of like the black and the pink and the green showing, what you can do, and what I did on this one, is I just took some thin white paint, that kind that, you know, you get at a craft store and it comes in like a 20-ounce bottle or whatever, kids paint. And I just took some thin white paint last night and just gave this a quick light coat. Okay, so that is all I have done here. Now I'm going to put a layer of color over top. You could do this however you want. You can get your ink blending brushes and go over it. You can put colored paint over it, especially if you had some of the translucent paints like Seth Apter's translucent paints, which we still have some of. And if you bought, when we had them from Paper Artsy, if you bought them in tints, you would still be able to see some of your pattern through. Or if you were using just regular acrylic or Tim Distress and you added a little bit of water to it to thin it out some, you could use that. Sure, you could use picket fence. I think that would do about the same job as this, especially if you were spraying it. I think it would go pretty quickly. All right, so what I'm going to do, that's why it wasn't working for me right. Hang on a second.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
I disappeared. Oh, who knows where I went.
Diane wants to know if you could use
picket fence. I already answered it.
Never mind, sorry.
Yeah, with the program, April. All right, so I'm just going to use some oxide spray if I'm shaking them real quick. I brought some spritzes for a different something I'm going to show you in a few minutes, and I forgot to bring the oxides. Don't know where the brain was there. All right, so I'm just going to give these a little bit of yellow coating here, and you can see the difference between you know, how much is being covered up. The one I put the layer of paint on first, see, you can see that it's disappearing more under the pink here, whereas here it's showing more. And of course, some of that could be the way I'm using it, but I'm just getting this covered. And usually when I'm doing this at home, guys, I would cover smaller areas, to be honest. And
ooh, you made purple.
Excellent. I was hoping for a little bit of orange too. I'm gonna have to get back in there with my yellow in a second.
Spray stain. That one's different.
Oh, is this different? Darn it. Okay, so green is a stain instead of an oxide, so it's a little runnier. Let's see. I'm gonna get some more of the yellow oxide down here. Ooh, I really did pull up that green, but you know,
cool.
I don't mind it. I actually have done some of this where I really lay it on heavy, and you can get it sort of swirling together. Like, oh, you can't really appreciate it there. But it's kind of a cool effect.
But you know what else you could do?
What else?
You could take a roll of paper towels and just roll it up.
Oh, that's true.
Off the
dry it a little bit. All right, let me get some yellow up here in the corner. More yellow.
But that looks awesome.
Get a little maybe orangey going here. Okay, this is pretty soaked and swirly. I don't always get it this wet, but anyway, it's a mess. So I'm going to set these aside to dry, and I'm going to show you some others that I have made. Wow. Yeah. Okay. April's going to get me a piece of paper so I can, okay. She's going to get me a glass mat so I can move these onto the floor without ruining the floor. Now you have to remember, if I cut these into 4 pieces, like this one would be mostly the yellow, orangey, pink. This one be mostly green and blue. I'm gonna actually drip a little bit of that off real quick. Let that run. She's bringing me a giant glass mat. Okay.
Oh, they look awesome.
I'm never prepared, but we got good teamwork, so it works. So I'm not going to show you all of these. I think they're pretty much the same. So I've got these that I did. They're just a stack of 4, and I'm just going to show you the one with just some blue. I didn't spray it nearly as heavily. You could still see a lot of that, and that's a matter of taste, what you're trying to do. When I actually go to make this into a project, I may add more color on it if I want less background. I've got this one that I did with a different pack of paper, but you know, kind of the same idea. So I've got a couple of those. Okay, so this one, all right, this is basically how it started. Okay, with some greens and blues and all my backgrounds. And then I did some stenciling on it. And this is that. Do we have any of these again? This is that.
We do.
Finnabar 3-part stencil. Okay, so this is a Finnabar stencil. It comes with 3 stencils. One is the brick, and I actually did the brick with probably oxide, and it's a couple different colors. There's a blue in there, there's a green in there, there's something browny red right here, and then it comes with a stencil that's got a butterfly, and some of these like travel-y stamps, little bits of words. So I've got that in 3 different parts with texture paste. And one of the fun things about doing texture paste is with an oxide or a distress ink, some of the color will start coming through. So from this green that's in the background, the texture paste soaked up a little bit of yellow. And even though I used solid white texture paste, this has a definite like antique linen vibe. And then speaking of antique linen, or this could be fossilized amber, the third stencil in the pack is this flower stencil. So it's all right here going around the butterfly. So I've completely changed the look of this. If you notice, if you compare these two, you can see much less of that background material in this one than you can in this one, where you can still see puzzle squares, music notes, the words of the novel. Oh, that's probably a bit of a dictionary page. You can't see so well on the camera, but I can see it. More puzzle squares, more novel words. Okay, you're not seeing as much of that here. You're still seeing it. This is a, well, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's definitely some book page words right here. There's definitely some music notes right here, a little bit of that crossword puzzle here, but you don't notice it as much. It becomes a layer. It becomes part of your background. And like I said, I'm going to chop this up into 4 card backgrounds. So one will be mostly the butterfly. One will be mostly this bit right here. One will be mostly the brick, and one will be mostly this. So I've done 4 card backgrounds in one fell swoop. Of course, if I wanted a larger project, I can do that as well. Now here are 2 that I did on watercolor paper. Okay. This had orange and yellow and purple sprays on it. It does have the same kinds of things in the background. Like right here in the corner, you can see some music notes still coming through, but I texture pasted this whole thing, and you can see it's picked up a lot of the orange and yellow.
It looks awesome.
From the spray that's in the background. There's a word here. I can see an O and an S. There's music notes here, but a lot of it really is hidden at this point. So that's a fun one. You know, if I mat that right and put the right thing on there, it's going to be great. And then here's another one that I did that,
ooh, snowflakes.
Yeah, some of the snowflakes, the darker ones are stamped on, and the lighter ones have the texture paste and are put on like that. Now, sometimes, guys, I do decorate the whole thing, then chop it. Although I will say, if you're going to put a bunch of texture paste and stuff, your trimmer is not going to work on this anymore. It's going to get snagged in all of the layers of paint and glue and paper and texture paste, and it's gonna be horrible. So you either want to use a guillotine cutter on this, or you want to just turn it over to the back, get your ruler, draw your straight line, and use your scissors, that kind of thing. And then here's a half one. Oh, can you reach in the
yeah,
get the altered book that has the butterfly on the front?
Yes.
So this is one that, again, same kind of idea, but it's got some green glossy stenciling on it. I think I used maybe the metallic texture paste with a little bit of green coloring in it, maybe some twisted citron. But here is a card that I made with that. So, you know, there were 4 pieces of this, and here's one piece here with the butterfly and the flower, but you can still see there's a bit of the crossword puzzle. There's a word right there, bit of novel coming through right here, and it's just a piece of the background. Music notes right there between the flower and the petal. Okay, so it's just a piece of the background. So here is the stencil. If you remember seeing this, did you just put this back on the thing for them? We'll just put it back on the showcase for you, so you can have it at 20% off today. It is $19.99. This is a great stencil, just because the one pack gets you such variety. You have that brick wall, but the brick wall in and of itself also has some words up at the top. So that's fabulous. And then this one, it's the butterfly. There's travel stamps. There's words. There's big words, little words, printed words, cursive words, all kinds of things. And then you've got that see if I can get out of the glare, that flower that's patterned and very regular. You know, if you want
Very
something,
regular.
well, you know, even, spaced out, symmetric, whatever you want to call it. I know,
Symmetric.
all of those things. All right, so another choice, folks. You can do this on a collage background. I'm just going to show you on an inked background, but you can go ahead and cut your pieces and just decorate them as smaller ones and not wait until after the fact to cut. So that is also a possibility. So what I'm going to do here is show you, April and I watch a lot of Vicky Papiano, and I love the way she makes her backgrounds. She will start with color. Now, how she gets the color down varies. Sometimes she ink blends it. Sometimes she ink smushes it. Sometimes she sprays it. Sometimes she takes a dab of acrylic paint and with a baby wipe,
She does all
just
the different
swipes the paint on there. So I've just ink blended these just to get some color on because I didn't figure you wanted to sit here and watch me color all morning.
I do.
This stencil, you want to throw the stencil on too since we're using
okay.
it? Pretty, please.
I'm saying I want to watch you color. All.
Oh, sorry.
It sounds much better than all the work we have to do.
That's true. When we're done playing with you this morning, we sadly have to go and finish packing the store to take to Nashville. Just as a reminder, we are closed beginning Sunday. So today is Saturday. We are closed starting tomorrow, and we will not open again till June 4th. Now, while we are closed, you are still welcome to place orders from our online store. I don't think we'll be shipping them until we come back on June 4th. So there'll be a little bit of delay in the shipping. But if you're seeing something, well, if you're seeing something here today and you want to order it today, we will go ahead and get it packed and wrapped, and I will drop it off at the post office Tuesday morning when we leave town. So remember, the post office closes at noon today. I don't have time to get it over there before then. They're closed on Sunday always. On Monday, it's Memorial Day, so they'll be closed. So Tuesday, when we're getting ready to leave here and go to Nashville, I will drop them at the post office. Everybody else, you're going to have to wait until we get back June 4th for that to ship.
Unless you want to pick it up in Nashville.
Okay. Unless you want to come pick it up in Nashville, and I'd be happy to help you with that. All right. So this is this stamp set. It's just a fun one, just random circles. And so a lot of times what Vicky will do is she will start with some kind of texture paste. And a lot of times she just uses white texture paste. And I thought there was a lot of this purple dazzle paste left, but there's not. There's just a little bit. I'm going to use, no, I am not. That dazzle paste is done.
Here.
All right.
Let me grab another.
April's going to grab me something else. And if the dazzle doesn't work, we'll just use the texture paste that you've got sitting here.
Raspberry.
Okay, raspberry works. I was gonna dazzle just for fun, but
that's kind of gross.
I don't think it's gonna work. Okay, so if you have dazzle paste, pro tip. I think those have been open more than a year. But if you have dazzle paste that's been open and it's getting close to a year, you're gonna want to go ahead and use that.
What about the spearmint?
Okay.
One more try.
One more try.
Nope.
No.
Just kidding.
So now what I'm using is Distress Texture Paste Opaque. And this has also been open a long time. But we're gonna make it work. April put some Distress Refresher in it. So it is going to be spreadable. And I'm just gonna get part of this circle here. And you know what? I may actually get the same part of the circle, but going off the page down here. And Vicky tends to do things in threes, which I think is kind of a good rule. I don't know if you've heard the rule of threes, but if you're going to put something on a page, to repeat it at least 3 times. And then here I'm going to get, all right, I am going to take this off with my fingernail where I smeared it where I didn't want it. And if you do it quick, you can get away with that. The secret is to do it a little bit quickly though. If you let it dry, I tried to take some off after the fact the other night. Nope, it is part of my project. It's just how we roll. All right, now I'm going to get some of these extra rings right here, just going off the page, just for funsies. Got a little bit of a smear there too, but Go with my fingernail real quick and clean it up a wee bit. Okay, and again, as long as you do it very quickly, you can get away with that. This, if you don't have fingernails, using the edge of this tool or a pokey tool would also be effective. All right, so got that. And then what I'm going to do, I've got this Tim Holtz stamp. I don't think we have it anymore, but I can try to order it for you if you want. I just grabbed it. It's Eastery. We're well past Easter, but it's got this set of polka dots here, and it's got this plaid here. Several of Tim Holtz's stamp sets have what I call a background stamp. That's just, you know, splattered a little bit and keep on going. So I'm gonna this is seedless preserved distress oxide, and I'm not gonna use a MISTI or stamping platform or an acrylic block because I'm just trying to kind of almost frame my edges, and I don't want it everywhere. I'm gonna put a little bit there. I'm gonna put a little bit right here. I'm gonna put some along this edge right here, and then maybe use the polka dots. Maybe just a couple polka dots here and there in between.
I like those polka dots.
So that's fun. And I could do this with black. It would be really common to do this with black or vintage photo, but I get accused of being too grungy sometimes, which I don't understand. I have a bright and shining personality.
I agree.
Oh, I thought you were going to choke on that one.
How could you be the glitter goblin and not be bright and shiny?
But I'm just going to go around my edges here. Of course, I could also pick up the pad and do it this way if I wanted less, actually, because that gives me a way thinner border than this does. But because I don't want to be crazy and have a super thin one on one side and thick one on the other side, I'm going to go back around. And last side. Okay, so again, these are the Vicky steps. Step 1, lay down some color, however you're going to lay it down. Step 2, stencil with some texture paste. Step 3, add a little framing and maybe a little in between with your stamps. Step 4, ink around the edges. And then she always splatters. And what I brought for splatter, you could, like if you wanted to keep the colors really consistent, you could take any of these ink colors that you already used, or you could take the seedless preserves that you just saw me using and mix it with a little water, get a little fan brush or a flicking brush and just flick a couple of those on. I like sparkles.
You do?
Nobody knew that. Don't pretend you knew that.
I thought you liked glitter.
So I'm going to use a little bit of the Distress Spritz. Here is Faded Jeans. Then I'm going to try to get on a little bit of the green. And then down here on this blue purpley area, I'm going to try to get a little Villainous Potion. These are just the ones that were on hand this morning that I grabbed first. I'm going to try to put a little, this is Squeeze Lemonade. A little Squeeze Lemonade. Give me some kind of goldy drops. Not as good as Fossilized Amber, which gives you that like solid gold look. And then here's a little Rustic Wilderness to dye down my green a little bit. All right. So we've got all these different background things now. And you can do any of these on top of the collaging as well. Okay. So that's fun. And the way I've sort of envisioned this, the reason I did these colors was I thought, well, this is sort of sky or grass looking, and this is sort of sky looking. And so I could put birds and flowers and make it sort of look like an outdoor scene. So here's a couple others just as I was going through the steps. So step 1, you're just laying down your color. Step 2, you add your texture paste or dazzle paste or whatever you have on hand. Step 3, you do a little stamping around the edges. Okay. Step 4, you add those ink edges. And then I got tired of doing this, so I did all the other steps in one. So this this is essentially that same background, right? With just a little splatter added and my chickadees added. And what did I use for splatter? For splatter, I used the Spellbinder splatter. The splatter didn't come in yesterday.
Yeah, the white did.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So this white splatter, I just didn't see it. That where's the sparkle? There it is. There's that sparkle. That just came in. That is Spellbinder splatter effects.
It actually came in the other day.
Oh,
So,
did
yes,
it?
I can.
Okay. April is going to add it real quick to the sale, and then I'm going to let her do a demo for you so you can stop listening to me. And then after this, after April's demo, we do have several really cool products to show you that have just come in the last, literally the last 2 days. All right. Are you okay if I leave you this much space?
Sure.
Some of these out of the way.
All right. The Spellbinder splatter has been added.
Thank you. All right.
I almost asked you where you put my texture paste. Oh, it's right there.
You know, it's probably a good thing I didn't just pick it up and just put it away. I never
Okay.
know what I'm doing.
So I'm going to do a little bit different of a background. And we are going to start with some texture paste. If I can get it out of the jar. Through. Do kind of a lot. Normally I don't do this much. But.
And guys, for your distressed texture pastes, if they seem to be getting dry, add a little bit of distress refresher to it. Let it soak for a minute or two, and then stir it up. And even if it feels like it's not coming out of the jar very well, a lot of times it'll still spread. Okay.
And it actually looks really good.
So don't think your paste is ruined just because it feels a little crunchy. Give it a second chance at life.
I mean, we're looking for texture anyway, right?
When it's rock hard and solid, I can't help you, but
then you glue it on like sprinkles. Just kidding. Just coming up with silly things. All right. So I added that. Done with this. This stencil is nice and messy. All right, I'm going to hit it with some heat real quick.
I'm going to try to rescue our stencils.
Thanks. Get it to you. You want this too?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't need it so dry, but I need it not so wet too. Because I'm about to get it wet again. Can you see the texture? I love that stencil. It's a great stencil. It's a tin stencil. All right, so now that I did that, now I am going to use some Distress Stain Spun Sugar because I love pink. We're going to spray it on all like that. And then we're also going to, if I can pick the paper back up, we're going to let it run a little extra. Get some streaks in it. And it's not as much as I thought I sprayed. But I want it to move. See it around the stars now? The sparkles. All right, now I do need to dry it for real this time because I am going to make a carton out of this piece of paper. And I too used the ScrappyShak cardstock. I used the Tim Holtz texture paste, the Tim Holtz spray stain. I might have to go in the other room for a second and hit this with some super heat. Hey, Barbie.
Yes.
You want to show the next product while I go dry this a little bit better?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, what am I showing? I will show this. Okay, so we have a new 49 and Market collection. It is called Glimmer and Glee. I'm actually going to turn this paper over for a second, just so when I take this, I don't ruin any of this. All right, so Glimmer and Glee, I'm going to show you the 12 by 12 real quick so you can see it pretty well. And then I'm going to show you most other things through the package, so we're not spending quite so much time on this. So this is, gosh, it's almost like a little kid birthday collection, but it's elegant at the same time. So you've got this on the back that's pretty bright, but then you have this that's got some of that background kind of stuff that we were just talking about. You know, it looks like it's been stenciled with circles up here and ledger paper and words and writing and, you know, all of those cool background things. And here you've got this smattering of paint and these beautiful cupcakes. Like, I'm ready for a cupcake break right now. Diane, bring us some cupcakes. All right. It's just what, a 5-hour drive? It's fine. We'll wait. Then this one, of course, if you're a scrapbooker, this is great. You could put a great big picture here or a couple small pictures. Or I've been to a couple graduations recently, so I'm thinking almost you can do like that kindergarten picture and the senior picture here. That would be really cute. But you've got this floral here, and again, this stampy, I don't know, it's like a cross between circles and honeycomb here. That look, and this little bit of wreath here, all kinds of pretty things, little paint splats, chevrons, writing, very, very detailed backgrounds. All right, I won't keep going over every single blessed thing. But here's these hot air balloons, just gorgeous colors. I mean, those are really pretty colors. No, you missed the cupcakes. All right, hang on. We're going back to the cupcakes to show April.
Oh my gosh, they look edible.
All
Speaking of cupcake.
Then there's the, you guys, I failed this week. I was supposed to make cupcakes on Wednesday and bring to the store on Thursday. I promised April, and I sat up Thursday morning at 5:15 and went,
and still didn't make the cupcakes.
And realized I didn't make them. I forgot. I completely forgot. So I owe her cupcakes when we get back from Nashville. But you know what? They might be better when we get back from Nashville because we might be tired. We might need them more.
That's fact.
Okay. So the fronts of these seem to have all kinds of pictures, backgrounds, textures, all that kind of thing. And the backs, is that the back?
Yeah, that's the back of that one.
Here I was about to say the backs seem to be set up in a scrapbook layout. And then I turned this one over and nope, not at all. All right, well, that just shows you what happens when I think I know what I'm talking about. All right, here we've got kites in the corners. And again, all that pretty pattern and color and texture. And woo!
Teresa, it's your color.
Those are yellow circles. Nope, it's not quite orange.
It's got an orange tint to it.
It does. It has a little bit of orange tint. All right, so here you've got your plaid on the side and then your other goodies there in the middle. All right, so again, this collection is called Glimmer and Glee. Last couple pages here. Then I'm going to show you the rest of the collection real quick before we go back to April.
That's fine, because this could still
well, because I don't want to keep people confused. All right. And then this one looks like it's a million cupcakes. Either that or somebody just, it's definitely layers of frosting. It could be the top of a giant cake. There's sprinkles. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, macaroons and cakes and butterflies, because butterflies aren't tasty. Well, I can't actually answer that question. You know, I shouldn't assume. I'm not going to try them though. All right. I'm going to let them fly. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful paper. And there is your back side. All right, so it comes with
Here, I'll put it away.
The collection kit. Oh, that's the first page. Yep. It also comes with a set of solids. Okay, so the collection kit, I think, was $12.99. The solids are $12.99. Those are 8 double-sided pages each. Yes, both of them. This one has 2 of each design. I think the other only has 1 of each design. And you get all of these, and they're not 100% solid. They're semi-solid. Like that yellow in particular, you could see has like sprinkles in it. The pink has some like squares. It's like light pink squares in the back of the dark pink color. The blue has some light blue circles in front of the dark blue color. There's some circles in here, some sprinkles in here. The brown, the darker brown and the darker blue have kind of a little herringbone vibe.
So
Very, very
you can
pretty.
see the back.
Oh,
This is in the 6x8.
so April's showing me the 6x8. The 6x8 is also $12.99. And that was weird to me the first time I saw it. I was like, why is the 6x8 the same price as the 12x12? It's because the 6x8 comes with a lot more pages. So this one has 3 of each design. Okay. And there's 9 different designs. So, but you could see how that pink looks. It's got just those light pink squares. The blue's got that little bit of sort of herringbone. That the green, I mean, it literally looks like cupcake sprinkles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's like dark squares and like the camera's not showing you quite the difference. I mean, it's subtle, don't get me wrong, but okay, and the rest of these are the same images as the pack that I showed you. Okay, so those are the backgrounds. And we also have with this kit the ephemera and frames. So you get all of these different pieces of ephemera and frames. It's 91 pieces and they are cardstock. But it's not chipboard, like it's not super thick. And that is $8.99 for all of those pieces. And they coordinate, of course, with that kit. And then this one is chipboard ephemera. Mostly words. There's a little bit of design on some of them, like this happy birthday comes with a cupcake. There are cupcakes there. This one is, it's a bow. I thought for a second it might be a butterfly, but it's a bow. Anyway, all of these different words, and these are chipboard. There are 49 pieces for $7.99. All right, April ready to go again?
April's ready to go.
All right, we're gonna pick back up where she left off.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I'm going to confuse you for a second first.
Uh-oh.
So I am going to use that piece of paper that I just did.
Okay.
However, I'm going to show you this product as I'm going to use this to make my carton. So it is a We Are Maker. It makes a carton stamp. I mean, it makes a carton, but it's a stamp board. It comes with all of these stamps. Mind you, these stamps have been used. That is why they are so dark. But they are pretty neat. And it comes with this little piece of paper for instructions. Tells you how big you need your paper for what size. And it takes you right through the steps. And it does help if you go this way and not this way. Speaking from somebody who doesn't like to read directions. Okay. So my piece of paper is already cut to 8.5 by 11. It has this little plastic piece. And it, of course, has its own little
bone folder.
Bone folder. Thank you, Barbie. Wow, words. Okay.
They're all to think of when you're in front of the camera.
Yes. So what it tells you at first is that you're going to line your paper up and you're going to do lines 1 through 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this might be a little interesting because, of course, it is not 100% dry. But it should get the point across.
Diane says, do I spy Halloween in there?
Yes, of course you do.
What is she talking about?
Those stamps.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the paper I just looked at, and I was like, where in the world did you come up with Halloween?
Yeah, there was no Halloween.
No, there was not. Okay, I got you.
Okay, then we go this way. And then we go this way. And then because this is a large, we're going to go down here to the L line. And go that way. And then you're going to put this back on top. And look, there's dog hair. Imagine that. And then you're going to go through these little holes here. This is what is going to shape your milk carton. I can't not call it a milk carton. Sorry, guys.
So it's kind of an upside down Y. The holes at the top.
Yes. So here is all the lines. Ignore that messy part because oopsie. Oh, well. So then you are going to take this top piece and you are going to fold it all down. And if you wanted to, bless you, if you wanted to stamp, right now would be when you stamp before you do all this folding. You have your piece of paper still up here. You put your clean stamps on here however you want them.
Pull the board down.
Oh, sorry.
So that the top is folded.
Yes. Well,
or you're unfolding.
You would unfold it.
Okay, unfold it.
And then you would pick it up, put your stamps, clean stamps where you want them. Then you would push this down. You got to make sure your paper stays where it is, or those stamps are not going to go where you want them to. Then the stamps will stick here. You ink them. Then you press them down. And it should work pretty well. Okay, and then we are going to...
Stamping works better before texturing.
It does. That's why I'm not stamping. So, and then we need to fold all of our creases.
But the texture is cool, and I like that you're showing that just because it comes with stamps doesn't mean you have to use them.
Well, we know.
Did you show your examples that you already made?
Not yet.
Oh. Okay, so folks, I want you replying here. What kind of things could you use these little cartons for? I'm thinking, oh, for like a table decoration at a baby shower. What else? What else, folks?
You do have to cut these little lines down here at the bottom because, well, that's going to be the bottom. To fold this line as well. And these little carton pieces up here at the top would fold this way, which gets a little more interesting because it's not the easiest part to fold. But you get it done. And you just keep on folding. All right, now we're going to glue. So there is this little extra piece here. And that little extra piece is so you can glue them together.
Let's see. They're saying you could use them as pencil storage.
Oh, yeah.
As teacher gifts. To put in a present for little kids.
Just glue that up right there. Hold it for a second.
You know, if you made the little short ones and cut a window in it and use some acetate, you could almost even make a pretty little Christmas ornament.
You could.
My brain thinks in Christmas ornaments. Sorry, folks.
She buys all this Christmas card stuff, but she don't make cards. She makes ornaments.
I do. Okay, says vacation Bible school gifts filled with candy.
Oh, yes. And I don't know how, but this has happened to me a couple times. My bottom may not be long enough for them to fully lap over. But you know what? It's okay.
Jennifer says put them on Santa's cookie tray with Santa's snack. If you made it with red and white stripes, you could put popcorn in it.
You could make it even a little to-go bag for Santa and put some little cookies in it.
Oh, your Barely Art fits in there.
Oh, it does.
You can give your crafty friend the gift of Barely Art with a.
Okay, so guys, this is the fun part. So here's your lid closure. So you could glue it all the way. You could use your little tiny attacher and you could staple it. Or you could do this. Remember how you opened your milk cartons in school? Then I could fill it with my peanut M&Ms.
I'm thinking milk
and
dud.
Close it. All right.
It's like a milk dud carton.
But so this one's one I already made and I stamped on it. The paper came like this. But so here is the one from this morning. I think it's pretty cool.
Adorable with the texture paste.
And then this one, Diane inspired. A little funky. Paper came that way too. So there are those, and this product is $39.99. It is the carton maker board, carton punch board, and it is in your showcase.
Do we have some smaller ones here?
We do,
Out here?
but they're attached to the board, so you'll have to bring the full board. The next new product that I'm going to show you is the new envelope punch up. So I don't have my instructions with me. However, I do have my envelope board. And so you have this little button right here to lift this up so you can get your paper in easier. You still have your round corner punches. You have your lineups. You still have your little pen down here, or I'm sorry, bone folder down here. And you have this handy dandy little QR code. Both products have the QR code, and that will take you to the page on their website that tells you what size paper you need to start with, where you need to start your paper lined up here, and takes you through the process. So this one is $27.99. It is a smaller profile than the older one. And yeah, and Barbie wants to show you the smaller cartons.
I do. So our design team is going to be doing make and takes with the cartons in Nashville, and they've put together this fabulous board. And I can't
Let me see if I can zoom out.
I can't. Well, I'm going to just turn it around and around. So this center part here shows you all the stamps that are in there. I think I've got that where I could show you. And then here are a couple of the bigger ones, like the size that April showed you. And then that stripe one is a little bit shorter. And I'm going to turn it this way. You have to look at these upside down. But these are
Small, medium, and the large ones at the top.
okay. So small and medium size. And it comes in 3 sizes?
Yes.
Okay, so this one you can see they've used the stamps. This one's used with Christmas paper. This is Christmas paper. This is heart paper, so it could be Valentine's or anniversary or just, I love you, friend. And stripes, birthday party. And then this one, is that stamped or is that the paper? Well, it's definitely the blue is stamped, but the pink is the paper.
No,
Okay.
the pink is stamped as well.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that tin stamp.
Oh, okay. So that's not one of these stamps,
No.
it's a separate stamp, which of course you can use. So that's very, very cool. And one of the things that I like about the We Are Maker stuff is that they all come with bone folders. So you never have
Yes.
to buy extra bone folders again.
Right.
Just have one with every project.
And I also like that they now have QR codes because I don't know about you guys, but I can't ever keep track of my instructions. Probably because I don't use them unless I absolutely need them. So let's show you the last collection of 49 in Market. This one is called Travel Diaries. It is $12.99. There are 8 double-sided pages, 1 of each design. There's your front page, your bonus back page. Uh-oh, it's stuck to your paper. Okay. Then we have this. I think that page is pretty cool. There's your tickets.
Always have to love the tickets.
Yes. There's your aeroplane. And your globe. Flat map. And your travel pattern. I hope we don't travel like that way.
You went that one.
Oh, this one's fun. Your ledger paper.
Ooh.
Spectacular journey.
And if you're making a project and you have leftover bits, you can use these leftover bits in our cabin.
Oh, look at the bottom. You got a little thing of tickets. Here's a city map. I don't know where that is, but it's a city map for sure. Some postage stamps with maps. This one's different. Got your postage, or not your postage, I'm sorry. Your city map, there's a postage, a reminder for something. Then like scrap papers maybe?
It's like a collage strip almost.
It is. And then all the different kinds of maps. Those are fun. Very fun. What's that? Is that Australia? I think so. Tasmania. Is that Australia?
I
No,
don't know.
that's
Not
not. Yes, it is, because there's New Zealand. Ha! Just kidding. Okay, and then here is the last page of this package. Very pretty. Okay, so this package too does have the color, solid colors that aren't so solid. But you can see too that they have the little bit of color difference in the background. Contour lines. This one does also have the 6x8 that has 9, 3 of each, $12.99. We have the chipboard elements, $7.99 for 48 pieces. Pretty good ones. And then we have some die cut elements, 105 pieces for $8.99. Look at all those pieces. Got your little label holders, some labels, some tags. Got your date, your location, latitude, longitude, elevation, so you can mark where you were that day. Then you have some washi tape. This is $5.99. There's 18 sheets. I'm sorry, 18 pieces. And there's your strips. Let's see how many. It doesn't say how many pieces. Let's see how many pieces are in this. So we have this piece. Oh, so it is just 2 pieces and then that piece. But then within them, you can separate them and get your 18 different pieces. Okay, then we have a rub-on set. It has 3 sheets. This is $11.99. I love the boots. Here's all of them. Very nice. And then the last item that goes with it, $8.99 for 4 laser cut element pieces. There are 164. Oh, look at them. They're awesome. So we have 2 big, huge collections for you. We got some We Are Maker. We got a new collage pack. And I think that is all we have.
That about sums it up. Yeah, April's going to pull up the announcements for you. In the meantime, I'm going to remind you when you're doing stuff like this and you get this kind of paper, keep it, okay? You know, and then the next time offset it a little bit, you know, put your paper over here and spray so you get some of this filled in. And eventually you have something that you can either cut out and use as journal pages, or you can cut out in smaller pieces and use as strips. You can use as a card background. Don't waste your goodies. I'm going to fold mine up and set it aside and you will see it again. This is going to be our friend for the next little while.
I'm trying, guys.
Okay. So April's
Me and this screen are fighting.
April's working on getting the announcements pulled up. We do have June classes now. All right. We did not have those for a while, but we got those put on this week. Melanie did that in between playing with the babies. So you've got some classes that you can start signing up for, and we look forward to seeing you sometime soon. All right. Bye, Scrappy friends.
Bye, Scrappy friends.